Hi, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Gail, and we welcome you to our 100th episode. We are delighted to celebrate with Jean Ketcham, who is 81 years old and who is known as being aging but dangerous. Jean, who lives in Minneapolis, made the conscious decision when she retired to live a life of fun, spirit, and style. Today, as Women Over 70 Aging Reimagined celebrates 100 episodes, we're truly excited to share with you all what a life inspired by play can look like. So, Jean, welcome to Women Over 70.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm anxious to talk to you.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you. So give us a little rundown on what did you do in your previous life and how is it that you made a conscious decision to have fun, spirit, and style in your life?
Well, before I did this, and I've been doing Aging But Dangerous for 12 years. We're starting our 13th year. So I had a clothing store in St. Louis, Missouri, and that was quite an experience. I'd fly into New York and on buying trips, and I was in the business right when the designers, were moving from couture into ready to wear. Von Furstenberg and Bill Blass and a lot of those people. They were going into the ready wear market, and so that was a very exciting time in the clothing business. So that was great, and then we moved up to Minneapolis, and I became a fabric rep. I repped commercial fabric, called on a lot of designers and architects, and just did that for, 19 years. I was the first. I started when I was 40, and then I was the first. This was a new company out of Chicago, and I was their first female rep, and I just set the place on fire. I mean, I was like their number one rep for a long time out of all these young whippersnappers, that were these guys that were repping, and I was the only woman, but and the oldest one. They were all very, very young. So I did that for 19 years, and I have always been surrounded by women. I'm a real woman's woman. I worked with a lot of women, of course, in the clothing business. And then I just worked with a lot of 98% of the people I called on when I was a fabric rep were women. So after I retired, I've always had a lot of young friends, as I'm sure you guys do too. And my good friend and we started noticing a lot of our young friends when they were turning 50. I was 69 at the time, and Suzanne was 62. She's 8 years younger. But we noticed a lot of our friends were just going in the closet. Now, also, that was 12 years ago. So, that 50-year-old, 55-year-old woman back then was totally different than what they are today. And even all of us at 70 and 80, I mean, look at us. We're totally different than that, at 70 or 80, probably 12 years ago. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Well, I think that there's definitely a difference, and but I think maybe longer ago, not necessarily just 12 years ago.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we decided we were going to get them out, get them off the sofa and get them out doing things and having some fun and having a good, spirit. To me is having a good attitude, having to, be positive. And then, style, of course, that's being your authentic self and not letting age define you, be who you really are. And so we just started doing all kinds of things. We had our Martini jump skydive.
Wait. I want to hear more about that. What was that about?
Well, I'm a skydiver. I skydived. My first skydive was at 60, and I did it with my 91-year-old dad. And
good for you.
What was amazing about that was that my dad, when we went to the drop zone, I said to them, can my 91-year-old dad jump? And I said, at that age, and he said, well, we don't care how old he is, as long as he can keep his feet above his waist. Because when you land, you sit on your butt and you have to lift your feet up or they get caught underneath you and you break your legs. So he was able to do that. So I said, it's not, I always tell people, it's not even the fact that he was 91. It was the fact that at 91, this man could lift his legs up like that. And I was 60. So, I mean, so that was just so great. And I really didn't think about doing it again until we started this. And at 70, Suzanne said, we got to do a skydive. Of course, she was scared to death. There was no way she was going to go up in an airplane. And I said, okay. So we started advertising this, and we had our first skydive, and it's a Martini jump skydive, because I'm a Martini drinker. I love a Martini. And you have one afterwards, not before.
Okay.
But
right.
So we had 107 women from the age of 50 to 80 jumping out of an airplane all day long. Now we're talking 15,000 feet, 13 to 15,000 feet. I'm telling you, it was miraculous. And women were, when you do something like that, you walk off that field and you just think you can conquer the world. And we heard from all these women, and this one woman wrote us, and she said, oh, I felt so good. She said, I went home and divorced my husband and started my own business. And we're like, now, wait a minute. We don't want to be the cause of stuff like that. But so it was so popular that we just did it every year. And it's still, I mean, women are saying, I can't wait to do this with you. Did
you just advertise to get people to come?
We did. We were on TV. I did a little segment on a Saturday morning news show here on Channel 11. And then by the time I got home, I kid you not, I had 100, I counted them, 100 emails from women that were interested in skydiving. It seems to be a real thing on the bucket list of a lot of women. And so it just took off. It just really took off. And then, we had a huge fashion show, and it was called Dispelling the Myths of Fashion. Because me being in the fashion business, I could not stand the fact that they were trying to tell you what to wear, where to wear your skirts, wear pink lipstick, all this crap they were telling women. It just drove me crazy. And I thought, no, we got to show women that no matter what they are, they can wear whatever they want to. So we had this one woman that she was one of our models, and I took the models off the street. I mean, these were women that never modeled before or anything. And I said, I want you to walk down that runway, and I want you to have attitude. I want you to have just the biggest attitude you can get, when you're walking down there. And I had somebody really work with them and kind of train them. But this one woman, Patty, she was sort of our mascot, and she was 80 years old. And she was a competitive ballroom dancer. And she didn't start until she was 70, taking ballroom dancing lessons. And she traveled around, competitive dancing. Anyway, Patty walks down the aisle. She walks down the runway. She has these tight jeans on. She has this cute little T-shirt and this jacket. And my 40-year-old daughter's sitting there with me. And she said, Mother, I cannot believe that I want that outfit that an 80-year-old woman is wearing. And I said, see, Michelle, that's the whole point, And then we had a fabulous colonoscopy party. And we thought, well.
Oh, wait. Colonoscopy party?
Colonoscopy party.
It's do tell.
Somebody was doing it out in Hollywood. So Suzanne and I thought, okay, we can do it. Get a bunch of people together that need to have a colonoscopy. So we rented a hotel, downtown Minneapolis room, and this big party, had sponsors, and we had Suzanne made this big centerpiece of this table. We had a stool in the middle of the table, in the center of the table, and all these glasses and all this drink and all these little things around. And so these women drank their drink then, and then they stayed in the hotel. And then the next morning we had a limo take them to their appointments, and we went with them, and we saved a life. We had this one woman that her mother had died of colon cancer, and she was scared to death to go get checked. And she had cancer. She had polyps, and they were cancerous. So we saved a life. Wow. And it was just great. We really wanted to get we are so much about education. It's really important to me to get, these women, and I think it is probably with you guys too. It's just, sharing things and getting the education part out there. You've got to have colonoscopy, and you've got to keep getting your breasts checked. You got to keep having the whole, breast
Mammogram.
mammogram. I started to say mastectomy. Excuse me.
Yeah. That's what we don't want.
Yeah, no, we don't.
No, but we do want to take mammograms. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. In fact, I'm 81 and I'm due for one now. And a lot of women don't realize my mother had breast cancer and her mother, and I haven't thought a lot about it over the years because I've always been fine. But when we started doing with Aging with Dangerous, a lot of research and stuff, then I realized, I thought I dodged the bullet, but then I realized the older you get, the more susceptible you are. Women 70 and over are very susceptible to get breast cancer.
That's right. That's right.
So you
having been there, I know about that. And so, yeah, women, get your mammograms and don't let them tell you you have to stop at 75.
Right.
Keep getting them, right? Yeah, exactly.
So, Jean, I'm curious that it said you brought in speakers on a variety of subjects. Mm-hmm. What are some of the kind of most popular or other kinds of subjects that?
Well, the popular was, we had a huge turnout for incontinence, urinary incontinence. The sex things, we had a sponsor that was a organic sex store, toys and everything. That was really big because I think there's just such a education there for women of all ages, even as you get older. And just, I don't know, it seemed like the most on nutrition, one of our sponsors was a clinic, women's clinic here in the Twin Cities. It seemed like the more serious the subjects, the bigger turnout we had. So I think that, women are, and even now, I just think women really want to know, the things that are happening to our bodies, the things that are, I know my doctor says, you've got to talk about fecal incontinence. She said, it's like women, this happens to them and they think they've got cancer. They think they're, going to die. I mean, they get so upset and, things that as we get older, women aren't necessarily talking about, which we do need to talk about things. And, but it seemed like, Catherine, it seemed like the more serious subjects we had, the bigger turnout we had. But then we did have big turnouts on our events too. So I can't really tell you what.
So what is? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, but what exactly? We had one event, with some doctors. That was the name of it was Hitting the Sheets After 50, and that one was huge. So. Just a lot of different things.
Tell us what Aging but Dangerous is exactly.
Aging but Dangerous is a community of women, and we empower each other, and we're there for each other, and we communicate and share stories. And until the pandemic hit, as you all know, we would do things. We had chapters all over, and we would, the whole, the skydive, the fashion shows, everything like that. So it's a community of women, and we have them all over the world. We have just tons of people. I mean, even when we just had gotten into it, just the first 3 years, I think we were represented in about 49 different countries. So it's just all over the world. I think women want that connection with each other. So it really is a pretty tight community. We have about 130,000 followers on Facebook, and it just keeps growing and growing because I think women have a need to, for something like this.
To connect, to hear stories, share stories. Yes, share activities. Definitely. Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
So what do you have planned for the future of Aging but Dangerous?
Well, we definitely want to, when all this gets over, which come on. I don't know. Do you guys, we may be in this for another year where we can't do anything.
We don't know.
We just don't know. But Absolutely. We want to get back to our activities and our chapters and our, doing things together. I think it's just so important for us. So we definitely want to do that. And just keep it going, like we have. And it's definitely, not just in the Twin Cities. That's where we're based, but we want to get it out.
Are you doing things with people on Zoom now or some other virtual platform?
Yes, Catherine, we are. And we have we have our ABD Facebook page. And then I do live videos on Monday, Coffee with Jean. And then on Friday afternoon at 4, I do Cocktails with Jean, have my little martini. And then we have a ABD private group, Facebook group, that women are starting to get involved in and doing things. And then we have speakers. In fact, we have one coming up today. We have that at 4:30 on Fridays. And we have these wonderful speakers on that Zoom. It's a Zoom call. So women are getting to see each other and meet each other there. So we're doing a lot of that type of thing. So we have quite a bit of communication going on.
And are you overseeing, you've got chapters all over the world. Are you sort of the head of all of that?
We don't have chapters yet all over the world. We had chapters here in the Twin Cities, and we were just getting ready to open up. We have people in different areas that want to start chapters. So, but yeah, we're based in the Twin Cities, and we'll have to, we'll see when all that happens. I just don't know right now. I think we're all just taking, a day at a time and trying to. It's funny because we just posted something yesterday or 2 days ago on our Facebook page that said, about staying at home and quiet space. And, this is such a great place to be. And we had, now I don't know, don't get me wrong, but we must have had 200 or 300 responses. And I couldn't believe it. About 90% of the people said they loved being at home. They loved having the private time. They loved having, not a lot of stuff going on. I mean, do you guys find that kind of shocking?
Well, not anymore, because we hear that a lot from our guests.
Wow, I was really surprised to see that, but they all seem to be, they're reading books and they're painting and I do think it's been very good for families. The families have really gotten connected, I think, very much so. But I was shocked.
Many people are doing Zoom family gatherings with family from all over the world that they would never have done if it hadn't been for this time.
I know, but it's just still not the same. It's it's good that we have it. I was just saying the other day in one of my videos, we're so lucky we have all this technology, because we would not be able to stay in touch if we didn't have the technology that we have.
Exactly.
So, Jean, what do you do to keep your spirit and playfulness alive during this time?
Well, I'm very involved, of course, do a lot with ABD, that keeps me going. Like I can get up and I can put on my makeup and I can put on my, I'm going to do my hair and all that stuff. So that's really fun for me. But I have always been, a very positive up person. And I do read, but I don't read, just at night. I just do, I don't know. I can't even tell you, because there's just so many things going on, in my life. My dad lived to be like 105, and he was very healthy right up until the end. And so I said, this guy the other day that interviewed me, he said, well, usually I have these guests on, and I ask them at the end what they want to do in 20 or 30 years, but at 80, that's kind of hard to ask. And I said, are you kidding me? I mean, I've got a good 20 years left. And I have a bucket list that I've got all kinds of things on that bucket list that I want to do. So, I just, and I do really, I've really worked on myself. I love makeup. I've watched a lot of makeup tutorials, and, I used to get my nails done all the time. I've figured out how to do my nails. I mean, I think we've gone inside a lot, and we've been able to find out a lot more about ourselves. that we did not know before, that we relied on other people to help us through things. And now it's just us, it's just us.
So how do you think about your own aging? Do you think about it at all?
I don't really. I don't. No, I know there's a lot that I want to do, and I know that I'm working towards it like I always have.
What are some of the items on your bucket list?
Well, the items are, I want to go to culinary school. There's a great little school out in California that is, you can go for like a couple of weeks at a time. And I really want to learn how to make, natural, sauces that are not real, a lot of calories and everything. And I would love to do that. I want to go to makeup, down here in Minneapolis, you can go right not far from us. They have this beautician school or whatever they call it. And you can go there for a day and learn how to do your makeup. And I think it's so interesting as we get older and the wrinkles, how it's just really interesting to learn how to work around all those little, my husband calls them cracks.
So give us a tip.
Well, I don't know. You just say, okay, so I've got, like 3 little wrinkles, up here in my eyelid. Now, can I say a bad word? Who in the hell would think that you would get wrinkles on your eye, right under your brow that are, they're not horizontal, they're perpendicular. And I'm like, what the heck is going on there? And so, it's like, and you just laugh, you just have to laugh at it. And I have this mirror that's like 10 times it makes you 10 times bigger. And I think it's very interesting. I love it because it shows all kinds of stuff. But okay, so those little lines, when you put on eyeshadow, instead of going across, you have to go up and down so it fills in the wrinkle. And so, same thing around here. You have to do the brush different ways so you get in all those little wrinkles. But it's very fascinating to me. And then, of course, I want to skydive again, and I want to train this spring to hang glide. I want to be able to hang glide by myself and not with someone else. And that's going to take some training. There's a place in Minnesota not far from us that teaches you how you can do it, by yourself. I want to go to meditations and retreats, and I just, I want to get in better shape. I want to get a personal trainer again. It's like so many things. And somebody said to me not long ago, you've got 24 years left. And I said, I do. And and I'm like, I thought about Daddy, and I thought, yeah, I do have 24 years left. So there's lots. That's what I keep telling young people, and older people too, all of us. I mean, we just can't be put in a box. Nobody can put us in a box because of our age. We just can't be. And I said, if anybody puts me in a box, there better be a door on it, because I'm out of there. I am not going to be judged for being 81. I'll be judged for, maybe what I can do or what I can do, if I can't, anything else, but I'm not going to be judged on my age, because it's just not important. You can't let that number get to you. It just can't be in your mind. So I really don't think about it. I think about things I want to do on my bucket list and things I want to do in the future, just like I thought when I was 40 years old, things I wanted to do,
So do you live alone?
No, I am married, and 58 years. I got married right out of college, and I'm very blessed for that. But and I only had one child, so my life has been very nice. I've had my ups and downs like everyone else, but it goes back to that attitude, and being positive. Can I tell you a quick story about my dad?
Please do.
My dad, I think it was in his early 90s. Anyway, he'd drive up here from Kansas. It'd been like a 12-hour trip, and he'd drive up here. And we had a boat, Catherine, on Lake Minnetonka, since you're from Minnesota. And we had a boat out there, and Daddy loved going on that boat. And so he came up here, and we'd listen to the weather forecast the night before. And the weatherman said, 80% chance of rain tomorrow. And I said, Daddy, I don't think we're going to be able to go out on the boat. It's 80% chance of rain. And he said, looked at me and kind of winked. And he said, well, let's concentrate on that 20%. And I'll be darned, get up in the next morning, the sun's shining, the sky's blue, and we'd go out on the boat. So he was that type of person. And I think I got a lot of that maybe from him. My mother, on the other hand, was so negative. But I just love having a positive attitude. Now I'm healthy, and I do think women that are not healthy as they're aging, it's harder to have that kind of attitude, I think. I mean, I'm very, very healthy. I can do things. I can, I do kettlebells. I do, I get up at 5:30 in the morning and walk 1.5 miles. And, if I couldn't do those things, it might be a different story, but I'm just going to enjoy it while I can. And
you can still keep your feet higher than your butt.
Yeah, I know it. I have to, because I'm definitely going to skydive again. So, I mean, it is so thrilling, so thrilling. My dad wanted to do it when he turned 100, but he got married at 94 and she wouldn't let him. And it was so irritating, so upsetting. I mean, it was like, come on. And he could have done it. I know he could have at 100 years old. So
they had 11 years together?
Yes, they did, but I wouldn't advise anybody to get married at 94. She was not what he thought she was.
Oh.
And, there's so many hurdles to get through. And I don't know, it was pretty devastating for the whole family and for.
Oh, that's too bad.
She was not a nice person. But
yeah.
Anyway, nobody knows her, so I can say that. But yeah, he was, But then he did get the companionship and stuff. But oh my gosh, he was such a healthy guy, and he didn't eat right. He lived on a high fat, high sugar diet, and I don't know how he ever made it to 105. But he had he was bright up until 2 weeks before he died. He was just having little mini strokes, but he was bright as could be. Took a B12 shot every month. I said, Daddy, why did you start taking a B12 shot? He says, I don't know. But he took a B12 shot for probably 50 years. And in fact, he had a B12 shot right before he died, 2 weeks later, before he went into the nursing home. He drove by and got his B12 shot. So I don't know if that had anything to do with anything or not, but he was sure sharp. So there is a life for all of us, I mean, 90 years old and jumping out of an airplane, telling you, anybody can if they wanted to. And it's funny, I have to tell you this. People will say to us, well, I want to be a part of your group, but I don't want to have to jump out of an airplane. We're like, you do not have to jump out of an airplane, because we do talk about that a lot, but you do not have to jump out of an airplane. But dangerous means all kinds of things. Dangerous means maybe, black nail polish, which I really love, but that was kind of dangerous for me to put on black nail polish. But, dangerous is just kind of like pushing the envelope, aging, but dangerous, it's just like push that envelope a little bit and do some things that you wouldn't normally do. It doesn't have to be a big thing, just little things, but push yourself, get yourself doing stuff, even if you're home, I think.
Well, sure. And you find that the women who do push themselves live happier lives.
Yeah, because they're stimulating themselves. It's, when you do things and you kind of push yourself, you kind of, it's just like, me getting up at 5:30 and walking. That's a push. I mean, that's not easy to do every morning. And some mornings when I don't do it, which isn't very many, I think, oh my gosh, I just don't feel good. And it's like a mental thing, it's a mental thing. Mm-hmm. I ran a 5K when I was 60 years old, and that was very unusual for me. I had trained to do it with a trainer. I went to do a mile, and then she said, I want you to go home and put a 5K on your refrigerator. I said, what does that mean? And they said, it means 3.2 miles. I said, I can't do that. And I said, yes, you can. So the one thing I learned about that probably in my whole life, that was much more a learning thing for me than the skydiving. Skydiving, I'm not afraid of heights, so jumping out of an airplane wasn't a big deal for me. But the running was, and because I learned from that my mind, because my body kept saying, no, I can't do it, but my mind was saying, yes, you can, and I really learned after doing that it was that whole mind over matter thing. And it really taught me a lot that if it's something you really, really want to do, then you can do it, but you got to really believe it. So I learned a lot from that, and I wanted to kind of keep it up, but then my back hurt and I had trouble, and I thought, okay, I've already done that. And that was on my bucket list. I wanted to be able to run a mile, and it took me 6 months to be able to run a mile. But then when I did that 5K, it was like, I felt pretty proud of myself. I was very proud of that. Still am.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 80-year-olds who run marathons.
I know it. I know. I just talked to a 75-year-old the other day, and she has been running marathons. She does triathlons.
Yeah.
But she's also been doing it since she was 30. So, mine was just, I used to work out with trainers, and I said, I want to be able to run because it looked like so much fun to run. They said, no, you're too short and you don't have the body for it, and it's not good. So I never tried it until I was 60. So, there's all kinds of things out there we can try now, all kinds of things.
Right. Well, Jean, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for being our 100th episode.
Well, I am very honored. I really am. Thank you for asking me. I hope I didn't babble on too much.
It's perfect.
Oh, no. We love it. We love it. All right, Miss Aging But Dangerous. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And you guys too, good luck in everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Women Over 70, Aging Reimagined. If you like what you've heard today, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. In what ways are you shattering the myth that women over 70 are no longer relevant or visible? How are you celebrating aging? Join with us. Make your voice heard. Find us at womenover70.com.